ArthroCare Corporation. ArthroCare Company was based in Austin, Texas, and was founded in 1995. The company develops and manufactures surgical devices, instruments, and implants, as well as reusable surgical instruments that are an essential part in performing successful surgeries around the world. Many of ArthroCare's devices use newly developed technology. ArthroCare specializes in sports medicine along with nose, ear, and throat medicine, but is starting to branch out in other areas such as spinal, gynecology, urology, and wound care. During 2005 through 2009, Michael Baker, CEO, Michael Gluck, CFO, David Applegate, Senior Vice President, John Raffel, Senior Vice President, were committing fraudulent practices that resulted in the loss of over $400 million for the stockholders and investors and made the stock prices drop from $40 a share to $23 a share. The way the fraud was being committed, they were inflating the sales, which in turn would increase revenue by millions of dollars. This was being done to meet or exceed the forecast set by the analysts of Wall Street and for the purpose of boosting their stock prices to entice new investors while also increasing their own bonuses. This fraudulent act was managed by using ArthroCare's various distributors into making large end-of-the-quarter purchases which allowed for the use of special conditions. For example, like upfront cash commissions, being able to return items at a later date, along with being able to extend the payment terms of their contract. DiscoCare was one of the largest distributors that purchased the medical supplies and devices. ArthroCare secretly purchased DiscoCare, and they did it by concealing the purchase under a monthly service fee in 2007. The reason behind the purchase was to continue to be able to conceal the fraudulent activities from the investors of the company. The products would sit in their distributing centers for a specified length of time so ArthroCare could meet and exceed their projected sales revenue, thus making it look like they had sold more inventory than they had originally did, which resulted in increased revenue for the company. In the end, Michael Baker, CEO, was sentenced to 20 years in prison. Michael Gluck, CFO, 10 years in prison. David Applegate, the Senior Vice President, 80 months in prison. And John Raffel, Senior Vice President, 60 months in prison. The auditor in charge of performing the audit on ArthroCare was Randall A. Stone, CPA, who at the time was a partner at PricewaterhouseCoopers LLP, Austin branch. According to an article published in Accounting Today, the article stated that the auditor Randall Stone failed to recognize red flags that ArthroCare was improperly recognizing revenue on the sales of medical devices, such as unusual pricing and payment terms, and the enormous end-of-quarter sales revenue. The PCAOB stated that Randall Stone did not comply with GAAP standards in regards with the failure to exercise due professional care and skepticism while performing an audit. Randall Stone had to pay $50,000 penalty and could not be employed by a public accounting firm for 3 years, but could have the right to petition the restriction removed by the PCAOB. The auditor should have done more tracing and vouching to verify the sales were taking place and dug deeper into the financial statements to verify that the revenue was being recorded to the correct account and period, along with an investigation as to why the end of quarter sales were higher as compared to all the other quarters. It was the lack of due care, along with not having professional skepticism and the red flags that were missed or overlooked, which resulted in a failed audit, which ultimately cost investors and shareholders to lose in the end $750 million. Auditing standards that were violated. Auditing standards 1015, due care. Did not obtain reasonable assurance, did not exercise professional skepticism, too many flags were missed. Auditing standards that were violated. Auditing standard 1105, audit evidence. Did not obtain sufficient audit evidence to provide reasonable bias for his or her opinion. Did not check for reliability of the source of the information. Did not test the accuracy and completeness of controls of the information. Did not test assertions of occurrence, completeness, existence, and evaluation.